My name's Rob Edwards, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm here for a very personally exciting reason. Because if you've been following me on social media over the last week or two, then you know, I hope, that my new book is coming out. It's called The Ascension Machine. It is my first novel. It's the first time one of my novels is getting published, and I am super excited for it. And I've been, perhaps, I don't know, being obnoxiously prevalent on social media for the last 2 weeks. But this is kind of building up to the big finale now. There's a couple of interviews coming out over the next few days that I'm going to share. But my main last kind of pre-order thing for me is I'm going to give you a reading from the book today. I'm going to read probably about the first chapter, I would have thought, sort of 10-15 minutes worth of reading for you. And I'm going to do this live, so I apologies for all the stumbles and fumbles and mess-ups as I go. But I am going to read chapter 1 of The Ascension Machine to you, just to give you a bit of a flavour for how the story starts. So here we go. Chapter 1, Meanwhile. It began with a lie. "That's nothing," I said. "I once convinced an autoteller that I was a Bronte clone." "Ha! No, you didn't." I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember the smell, beer, and travelled-in clothes. He took another swig of his drink. "How? Look at you. How does a 12-year-old, I'm 17, human kid convince an autoteller that he's 7 feet tall, green, with like 4 arms? We sat in a bar on Meanwhile Station, the kind of bland, soulless, no questions asked sort of place that you'll find on any large transport hub. Not technically humans only, but the decor, the music, and the sports on the screens were all Terran-themed. By station time, it was early. There were only a handful of patrons in, and my ripe-smelling friend was the only one drinking in earnest. I was hustling for breakfast, so I was wide awake and drinking coffee. Well, I didn't, of course, I admitted, but I didn't have to. Bronte may be big, very big, green, very green. Sure, yes, and they do have 4 arms, like you say. He slapped his thigh. "Ha, yes, I knew it." But get this. They're clones, right? Identical. Fingerprints, retina prints, bone structure, even DNA matching. Can't tell one Bronte from another. They all literally look alike. So while I couldn't convince the autoteller that I was a Bronte, I could convince it that I was a particular Bronte. After all, it can't look at your retina or fingerprints, your height, weight, none of that. It doesn't even count your arms. Do you know how they tell themselves apart? Names? I fought the urge to roll my eyes. All I needed to do was to get to the end of the story, just keep his attention a little longer. "By scent," I corrected. "Each Bronte has a unique chemical signature, so to convince an autoteller that you are a particular Bronte, all you do is spray it with some specially made Bronte perfume. Simple." He ran a hand through his hair, shaking his head. "That's unbelievably amazing," he said. "Yes," I said. "It is." The thing on the table that I told him was my mini-pad beeped. My Ripper, all done. I got up to leave. "Hey, kid, what's your name?" "Mark," I lied. "Nice to meet you, Mark." He raised his empty glass in a toast. "What happens when they find out? Do you get some angry green dude chasing you around the station?" I paused. "Not usually. I never take much. Enough for my next meal, maybe. Never enough to be worth coming back for. If you wake up tomorrow and realise your credit stick is like 20 credits, would you fly all the way back from Bronte Prime just to get it back?" He shrugged. "Guess not." "Good to know." I flashed him a grin. "Oh, hey, buddy, I think they're calling your flight." I may have gone too far. Something I said, and we may never know what, made him check the levels on his credit stick. As he struggled with basic arithmetic, I made for the door. "Hey, that kid robbed me." I ducked through and cut left, accelerating between a few surprised passers-by. Cut left again and hard right. If he was as drunk as he seemed, that should be enough to lose him. I cast a back... You see, stumbles and all. I cast a glance backwards. He was still with me, face red, but arms and legs pumping. Okay, plan B. The next turn took me to a balcony overlooking a shopping arcade. It would be quiet this time of day, I knew. Perfumes and triangular chocolates are afternoon purchases, even on station time. I ran the length of the balcony, counting off railing posts. At the 7th, I planted one hand on the railing and vaulted over. I dropped a metre and caught myself on the top rung of a safety ladder, shifted my grip to the outside and slid down to the ground. That should do it. Only a drunk idiot would try that stunt without knowing that the ladder was there. Oh, right. Plan C. Plan C will work. I sprinted across the arcade and ducked through a staff-only door. When I'd passed this way earlier, yes. A little further along the corridor than I expected, but still there and still well stocked. A cleaner's cart. I swiped a bottle of cleaning spray as I ran. Bouncing off the wall, I turned right at the end of the corridor and spared another glance back. Considering he was middle-aged, drunk and jet-lagged, he was keeping pace disappointingly well. Maybe he ran half marathons at the weekend back home. He hadn't seen the type when I tagged him, but live and learn. Foot traffic was busier now that we were off the tourist lanes. There's always work to be done and people were setting up for the day. I threw some apologies to those I clipped as I passed, managing to avoid a full-on collision with a last-minute body swerve, and missed sprawling flat on my face only because of a clumsy hop over somebody's toolkit. And still he followed. A massive overreaction for the price of breakfast, but people can be strange sometimes. Time for a calculated risk. 3 pressure doors, each with a gut-squeezing 2-second delay between hitting the open button and the hatch whooshing opens. Each pause gave the drunk guy a few paces on me. As I slapped the 3rd hatch open, I heard him. No, now there were 2 sets of feet beating the corridor right behind me. I dived under the 3rd hatch as it opened, grasping fingers grazing across my shoulders. I tucked my head in and pelted into hydroponics. Rows of green stuff blurred by. I'm not actually sure what they keep in hydroponics, but I know they're super careful with it. While it's called a hydroponics bay, it's more a series of smaller compartments, each one designed to be sealed separately in an emergency. The idea being that no crisis should be able to wipe out the entire supply. I'd been careless on a cleaning job a few jumps back, and the chem sensors had reacted spectacularly to a trivial spill. At the time, I was mortified, but I'd filed it away as useful. I slowed at the far hatch, slapped it open. Enough of a lead. Just. I pointed the cleaning spray at the chem sensor and pulled the trigger, hurling myself back as I did. It took half a second for the chemical fumes to hit the sensor, and then the protective hatches slammed shut. "Attention, please," an automated voice intoned. "Anomaly detected in Hydroponics A. Please stand by. Maintenance crew to Hydroponics A, please." It would take at least 5 minutes to clear the area as safe. Plenty of time to make myself scarce. There was a window in the hatch. On the other side, the drunk guy and someone that I vaguely recognized from the bar earlier were red-faced and breathing hard. The drunk guy was holding his side in some pain. I waved the cleaning spray at them and was disappointed I couldn't hear their shouted replies through the hatch. I twirled the spray bottle around on its trigger and made to slide it in a holster. Not that I had a holster, but they couldn't see that through the window hatch. I turned to find a hydroponics engineer and a Colbran from station security staring at me. We sort of considered each other for a moment. The Colbran recovered first. Her shoulder fur rippled. What? And off I went again. And that concludes Chapter 1 of The Ascension Machine. Our hero, our protagonist, who will later become known as Grey, is about to go and meet someone who will set his feet on the path towards joining the Justice Academy, the galaxy's premier college for superheroes. It's a surprise to all concerned, and it's a big life-altering event for our hero Grey. After that, Well, you'll have to read the rest of the book, but suffice to say, there are shenanigans and heroes and villains and college courses. That's not very interesting, is it? But they are interesting college courses. I'm very, very proud of this. I really hope that you pick it up and enjoy it. It's coming out on the 1st of September. They're going on a shot. It's coming out on the 1st of September. It's available in Kindle on Amazon and in paperback format in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole load of other places as well. So get yourself a copy, The Ascension Machine by me, Rob Edwards. I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. I will be back shortly to talk about some recent pop culture stuff, but I really wanted to make sure that I got this out today. So thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.